skies clear up, I won't go outside. I'll imagine you're still by my side. Lets me know that I'm still here. Sometimes I want to run away, to find good times again, to find all my old friends. Run away, to the nearest place where I'll find all my old friends. Times, I said good times, find my friends again. I said I wanna have good times, good times, find my friends again. And good times, I said good times, find my friends again. I said I wanna have good times, good times, find my friends again. And again, I said I wanna have good times, good times, find my friends again. And good times, I said good times, find my friends again. I said I wanna have good times, good times, find my friends again. And Take it off, the feeling's gone. We land at this point again. First you played, and now we've lost. Like I never wanted anything. Watching as the colors blend, but it still won't mean an end. Fear what we never knew then, 'cause we are fighting for a different ride, but we still can't see the light. all the places you said we go. All this pain builds within. Footsteps fade, what could have been? Finally I feel more free. The end of you and me. Let it go, let it be. My heart belongs to me. My heart belongs to me.
Walking on the moon. One moment to escape. You're walking on the moon. This is how I feel when you take me to
but you don't rush. Something that you want, but you need it more. You've got it in your heart, but your mind's blown. You know that you can try, you're getting so close. It's something you can do with your hands. There's something about the way you evolve. It's hard for them to understand. Just keep on playing to your song. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Tell me, can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel your dancing with the whole world? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel your dancing with the universe? Dancing with the Dancing with the Everything you need is inside you. You just need to see what's in front of you. Don't listen to their words, do your own thing. Just listen to yourself and make it happen. It's something you can do with your hands. There's something about the way you evolve. It's hard for them to understand. Just keep on playing to your song. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Tell me, can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel your dancing with the whole world? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel your dancing with the universe? Can you feel it? This is something real. You have the universe to dancing with the universe. Can you feel it? This is something real. You have the universe to dancing with the universe.
Would you please stay tonight? Oh, just until the morning light. Oh, and it's okay if what you want is a breakup. All I really care is that you're here when I wake up. Would you please stay tonight?
And it's okay if what you want isn't
Body jumping.
you please stay tonight? Oh, just until the morning light. Oh, and it's okay if what you want is a breakup. All I really care is that you're here when I wake up. Would you please stay tonight?
And it's okay if what you want is
Party jumping. Jumping.
And it's okay if what you want is a breakup. And it's okay if what you want is a breakup.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Revival League Season 2 Champions League Round 4. My name is Retro, and per usual, I think this has become my favorite saying so far, is that I am very, very excited for the matchup that we have with us here today. It is VITICAL ESPORTS coming up against Voltage Gaming. These teams have been very, very fun teams to watch all throughout this season so far. They've both had some pretty bang-on games. I think VITICAL still hold the sort of, not necessarily record, but they still are at the top of the list for me personally as the two funnest and most interesting games to follow along with this entire season, especially in the Champions League, where it was their first game. So it was all the way back in round 1 against Arctic Volps, where both maps went into full overtime all the way down into round 15. It was very, very interesting to watch. If you missed that game and are thinking about rewatching some of the games that have happened already, I 100% recommend going back and watching that one. It was so much fun. I'm so glad that I was able to be a part of that by casting it. A lot of fun. But in any case, regardless of how fun their games have been, they have had pretty good games. They're right there in the middle of the pack. They are 3rd and 5th currently in the standings. VITICAL is 3rd and VG are 5th with 10 and 8 points respectively. So they've built themselves a nice little base where they are definitely looking to preserve, that top 4 placement, at least for now. Again, throughout the pretty much entire season so far, I've always said that points really don't start to matter all that much until about round 4. That is when, if you don't have too many points, especially if you have 0 points, the way that a team currently does, and that would be Eternity, unfortunately. If you find yourself with 0 points or on the low end of the points, at this stage, this is when you really need to buckle up and get those points on the board. So VITICAL and VG both are not struggling with that because they've already built themselves a nice little base, and they are in a pretty safe position at this point. Of course, anything can change, and there's still, after this round, there's still 3 more rounds to play through, round 5, 6, and 7. So all of that could still change drastically what we're working with. But at least for now, they're both in the clear. With Voltage Gaming looking to overtake Volps for that 4th spot and put themselves into playoff contention. At least for now. Again, everything can change, but it could very, very well happen, and I've been rambling on for a while now, longer than normal. We completely missed the bans, or you could see them on the screen. It was a Flores and Solis coming out from VITICAL, and then a Thatcher Mira coming out from Voltage. Now, these are all very, very high band operators. I feel like we've spoken at large lengths about why these operators are banned as often as they are. Flores can clear out a lot of utility, can clear out a lot of players from their positions without really having to do anything. Or without really having to engage. It's completely different to an Asher or Zofia, who has to expose themselves to be able to clear out that utility. Same goes for frag grenades. He's able to just sit outside, get that drone, and even if it gets shot, he's got 4 chances to clear out a single piece of utility. So, and also, he's completely safe from any type of projectile denial, such as ADSs or my magnets. So he's completely free to wreak havoc on the defensive gadgets and utility. Solis, likewise, can do the same thing, basically, but from the defensive side, she can destroy any of your electronic utility that you might have or that you might be looking to use. Oh, wow. And there we go. The first engagement has come out already. Arada with the opening kill onto Gunter. That's the Oryx off the board, a roaming operator, somebody who is definitely looking to maybe catch a late flank, especially on this bottom floor site of Throne and Armory. Having that flank potential is definitely very, very good for teams, as they are able to clear out a lot of players and make the attackers feel a little bit uncomfortable in their skin. But these attackers are not uncomfortable in their skin at all, as they have the man advantage, they have site control, and the plant has gone down. Mr. Mac was able to find one at the Pablo, but now it's a 2 versus 4 with the plant down. Mac and P1 trying to push in through different doorways. Mac in a prone position can't really find the head of the Iana. Meanwhile, his teammate falls down over on the split door. All in the zone now in a 1 versus 4 situation. That plant clock dwindling down and dwindling away from him. A grenade will come out onto that doorway as well. There comes the swing, and Staffel will pick that one up. First round goes the way of VITICAL, and they put themselves on the board first, secure themselves around on pretty defensive-sided site and a pretty defensive-sided map in general. Theme Park, I really didn't get a chance to get to it that much, but Theme Park is definitely an unusual site pick for really any team. You really don't see it all that often, and I'm quite surprised that this is the site that we are seeing. This is the map that we are seeing. We have seen it so far before, don't get me wrong, but it's just an unusual site pick. Typically, teams will end up going for a more default site pick, such as the Clubhouse, Oregon, or Chalet, especially if you go through the past few rounds of this season that we've played, and especially throughout the qualifiers. I mean, that's basically all that we ever saw. So definitely seeing a theme park is quite unusual, but I'm welcoming it, and as I mentioned already, very, very defensive-sided, so I really expected Voltage to be having this in the bag, but they sort of just crumbled the entire time, and they were not able to recover from that opening frag going the way of VITICAL Esports, and it just sort of kept crumbling after that. As I said, they could not recover from it.
New feed active.
Very defensive-sided map and a very defensive-sided site that went the way of the attackers. Not that unusual. It has been happening, especially more so recently. TV hunting his drone does find it, or he can hear it now moving around, but he can't quite shoot it. And of course, there he goes. Wasting any of that utility might seem a little bit, reasonable. Why are you hunting this drone? Just leave it alone. But taking care of that utility, especially early on, is definitely very, very good when you're defending and you need to make sure that the attackers don't have any information, or that they have as little information as possible. And Gunter now getting flashed out from his position inside of the laboratory will have to rotate around and vacate that position. It's now been taken over by the Sophia. Or that's not the Sophia. That is the... Who is that? Inside of the laboratory. I don't know, but or inside of storage rather. But it doesn't really matter. He was pushed out of his position, and now they are on a little bit of a chase, trying to find him. I think it was Pavlov on the Nomad. I got a little bit confused there. The headgears from up top sometimes look a little bit similar. Smokes are coming out as well to cover up their positions and to cover up where they're going to be coming out, especially with those Candelas coming out as well. They are definitely looking to push up those arcade stairs, and they've already pushed up. Joke, at just the perfect moment, rotates back into the bomb site, reinforces that wall right behind him, and stays alive to live another day. 90 seconds have already gone. VITICAL have done a really good job of removing a lot of pushing those roamers back a lot, but just the same, Voltage have done a really good job of wasting quite a bit of that time, and they're going to be wasting even more, I believe, with of course the Fenrir gadget's a brand new operator, Fenrir, in the new season. His gadget works the way that if a defender gets or if an attacker gets close enough to its area of effect, it deploys this giant purple bubble of smoke that the attackers can't see anything through. And Joke, the Fenrir, will pick up the first frag onto Rudda. That is basically a bit of a late refrag onto Rudda from last round, and they seem to be just completely falling apart. They can't really even see anything as there was that Fenrir gadget right on the doorway, so they were completely blind as they were coming in through it, and that's what allowed them the round win from a pretty safe position of still holding on to that bomb site. Very good utility, very good use of that brand new operator. I say brand new, but we've already seen him quite a bit so far throughout the season. Of course, we did a poll all the way back in round 1, when sort of midway through round 1 is when Fenrir got released, and we did a poll of our players, and they were like, okay, well, we're going to allow him throughout the season, but only from round 2. So if you are just now watching from at any point after round 1, you might be thinking, hey, I didn't see Fenrir before, I thought he was banned. That was only during round 1. We've seen him plenty since then, and I really have loved seeing how teams use him and how much into play he comes. I think a lot of teams are still a little bit uncomfortable bringing him just because he gets in the way of a lot of strategies that you might already have in place. Just mainly, he's a new operator. He's not somebody that you've scrimmed with. He's not somebody that you really have any idea of what to do with. And he might not fit into your lineup. He really might not have an idea who to replace, and bring him on instead. So it's still quite a surprise to see him actually get brought. And well, I think a lot of teams also still don't really know how to play against him. So that's why he has a pretty high success rate, at least so far, this season. The push this time, pushing onto the daycare site. Voltage deciding that they're not going to be returning back to the throne room anytime soon. Of course, it didn't really work out the way they wanted it to last time around, where it was just a free fall from their side. And Rexy will pick up that first frag onto P1. And meanwhile, the Monty of Katu is being slowed down at least a little bit by those Goyo canisters being deployed right on his door. Gunter still engaging, still being quite aggressive on these peaks.
Reloading, cover me.
Manages to stay alive, but does not manage to pick up any frags in return. Still the man advantage going the way of VITICAL ESPORTS. But Voltage Gaming still have quite a lot of map control that they, of course, need to hold on to for as long as possible. Not only site control, but also everything site adjacent. And there come a few of those air jabs deploying down as well to make sure that the flanks are prevented. And while I was talking, Gunter was able to take down Katu, but he immediately got traded out, so his damage has been minimized. 75 seconds to go for VITICAL ESPORTS, who at the moment hold the man advantage, but as I said, Voltage still hold quite a lot of map control. They are just waiting for Vitical to push into their crosshairs, which, wow, Pavlov, I was going to say he will do just that, but he doesn't. Instead, he gets a really, really nice peek and a really, really nice kill, but now it's all down to Mac, and in 1 versus 3, the rest of his teammates fall down. Staffa is there again. A very, very good round coming out from Vitical Esports, who recovered quickly from the round loss in the previous round, and well, I said that the Fenrir was definitely a contributing factor to the reason why Voltage won the round that they did back in round 2. But I think now is even more apparent, as I don't believe that any Vitical player was ever affected by the Fenrir gadget, so there was never a point at which that could become a factor. But Voltage now back on defense. Still sticking with Daycare, once again deciding that they are not going back down into Throne and Armory, which really did not go the way that they wanted it to. They lost it pretty quickly. As I said, it was pretty much in free fall, as they lost originally their roamer, and then they lost everybody else that was on site, and they only had 2 roamers left over, who could not really put up a fight against 5 players that were still remaining and that were pretty much in sight. But going back into the Daycare site now, and very interestingly, Katu has switched off the Ace and onto the Blitz instead. Could be a bit of a rush coming up from Vitical, especially as they have decided to not bring the Montaigne this time, or anything else that could be a bit of a slower push, or could be indicative of a slower push. Funnily enough, Gunter has brought the Warden, so if the Warden and the Blitz end up meeting each other, well, it might not go as well for the Blitz as he might be hoping for. And of course, bringing those Fenrir gadgets still, as well as the Goyo with the Vulcan canisters, that is also going to deny quite a lot of area, but also will allow Voltage to control the attack or the push from the attackers, but more specifically the Blitz, should it come to that. Pavlov and Staffa looking to push in by themselves over on the other side of the map, and well, they have quite a lot of information as well onto one of the players of Voltage Gaming. Grenades are coming out as well. They miss, and Noisik is back on the position that he was holding. Despite the information that they had, they were not able to gain anything from it. And Noisik with a nice pick fires the first one onto Staffa. Rada is there with a refrag, however, onto P1. Katu. The Blitz, interestingly enough, has not been very quick. Choke will get shut down from the backside by Rexy. Rudda will follow up onto his teammate. Katu will go down, funnily enough, not to the Warden. Now it's a 2 versus 3. Noisik and Mac. Noisik not really sure where to stand or where to be, how to be, really. Has to drop those yellow stairs. He's been flashed out of position. Mr. Mac is in a tight corner, and I do believe they know it. Here comes the swing, and unfortunately he whiffs a couple of those shots. Loses the gunfight. Now it's all down to Noisik. Plant going down. There goes an impact grenade. That will not find anything. A couple more of those magnets to deny any possible utility getting thrown at him. Any possible frag grenades or flashbangs, what have you. Rotating all the way back up those dragon stairs, and I do believe that some of those air jabs will be catching his path as he tries to make his way back into the site. 25 seconds to go. He sees one, has to back out of it. Goes in for it again, but it's Rudda from on top of the knockdown vending machine to find a kill. There's such an off angle, not really something that you'd really be expecting in any sort of gunfight, and a round that I really thought would have better results for Voltage goes Vitical's way yet again. So it's in a 3-1 lead on one of the most defensive-sided maps in the game, definitely in the league. Definitely not something that you see very often. It is by far and away the most defender-sided map that we have in in the league so far. Over 70% win rate for the defensive side. So for Voltage to not only not be in the lead, but to be trailing by 2 rounds and to really have no way of stopping that, have no answer to what VITICAL has been doing so far is definitely a problem for them. They're going back into the office. Initiation bomb site. The only site that they've won so far, and it was largely due to a sort of a tunnel vision push coming up from VITICAL where they were all stuck in one doorway with a Fenrir gadget blocking their view, so they all got shut down, if you remember, all the way back on that waiting double door. Hopefully this time Voltage are going to have a little bit more luck than they've had in the previous couple of rounds, and that it won't all come down to just being able to funnel the entirety of VITICAL's team into one doorway, because of course relying on that to work again might be a bit of a suicide mission, just because teams adapt, teams gather information, teams know how you play, teams learn how you breathe, and they will absolutely not be allowing themselves to fall for the same traps again. Up to in with the drone. Mustafa already inside a bathroom, just sees the head of one, but can't quite catch that kill. Pavlov taking a little bit of damage as well. Meanwhile, P1 just narrowly misses on Mustafa and has to rotate back around to the yellow stairs. Can't really contest the deep push coming up from below anymore. They once again have information on these defenders, but they're pretty tricky positions for them to be able to contest at this point. Voltage wasting good time. But here comes that same exact push coming up from VITICAL where they push up those arcade stairs. And Voltage are largely unaware and largely unprepared. Joke will go down first. Pavlov will find Mac right after that. There's a player still inside of the break room. He'll find one. P1 on the other side will find another. Gunter is aware of another player being on the rappel, and he will find one on Rudda through the wall. Just narrowly avoiding killing Rexy there, but Rexy will find one through the wall. Wow. Noisseek now in a 1 versus 2. That wall will be getting opened up further. He's not in a position to be able to reinforce that wall back up, even though they still have a hard breacher, so even if he did that, it wouldn't matter much, but he gets the peek, gets the swing, gets the kill onto Rexy, makes it a 1 versus 1 against Skatu. Diffuser in hand. So has a few of those salvo charges to be able to make himself more angles, but of course those mute jammers will be blocking the possibility of that actually happening. Good use, or good counter use of that utility of block. Wow, we're shooting that Vulcan canister. I thought he saw him there behind it, behind the initiation wall for a second, but I think that's just easier for us to see with the outlines on. Nevertheless, the joke. Oh lord, not the joke. Noisseek with the final kill of the round wins it, takes it BG's way, keeps them in this game for just a little bit longer still, but still yet they've only got 2 rounds on their defensive half on the 70% defender-sided theme park, going back into daycare, site that they lost twice in a row, deciding that Throne is never going to happen again. They tried it once all the way back in round 1 in a site that most teams gravitate toward as their primary site, and a lot of teams absolutely love it. It is their comfort pick. It is the one site where they know that they cannot be beat, and yet Voltage, after just 1 loss on it, deciding this is never going to be in our arsenal again, or at least never again for the rest of the day. Very, very interesting decision from Voltage, because a lot of the times teams will lose their primary site pick or a site pick that they went into confidently, but they will replay it. They will learn from their mistakes, know exactly what went wrong, and they will run it back. But Voltage, maybe they've also learned from their mistakes, and maybe they know that the mistakes that they made were too great to be able to rectify. You know, they lost pretty much everyone very, very quickly. They allowed themselves to be split apart completely, again, very, very quickly, and they're just deciding, okay, this bomb site and the way these guys play is not something that we are able to do, so we're just gonna not do it. And I really, really love the use of the observation blocker there, where it completely denies the view of any drones or zero cams, Roteros, Twitch drones, Clutch drones, whatever you could think of that is an observation tool on the attacking side, has zero chance against that observation blocker. And the person who might have zero chance could be Stoffa right here as he's pushing eerily close to Gunter. But there come the drones. They know exactly where he is. He manages to escape with his life intact. And better off HP-wise as well. But oh my goodness, Stoffa absolutely nasty today. Finds that headshot through the stair banisters and finds the kill. Joke in the meantime finds one onto Rexy, who immediately or finds one onto Stoffa. Meanwhile, Rexy follows it up with another one onto Noisy. 3 versus 4. The blitz is still in play for VITICAL. Voltage not looking too strong, but they might be looking a little bit stronger now as Mac will find Rudda. That will be the Nomad, of course. A lot of very utility probably already placed down. Rexy, in the meantime, finds the trade onto Mac, and now numbers far worse for the side of VG and make that just a 1 versus 3 now. All out to P1, getting rushed by the blitz, and there's nothing that he can do. But he's full flash and has 3 gun barrels staring right at him. Another round goes the way of VITICAL. And, well, I take a good look at that 4-2 split for VITICAL on Theme Park Attack. Take a very, very good look at it, because that is not something that you're going to see anytime soon. It's not something that you're going to see all that often. It is sort of like a double rainbow. It exists. It happens. Very rare, and very few people actually get to see it and recognize it and witness it. Definitely not in Revival, where, again, as I said, 70% defender sided. So this is already breaking the mathematical equation completely. Typically, you'd see this exact split, except the other way around, where you'd be like, okay, yeah, 1-4 rounds on Theme Park Defense makes sense. Not this time, not today, and well, VITICAL are going to be bringing a little bit of that poison the Voltage brought with the Fenrir, but they said they're going to be bringing even more poison with the Frost as well. Frost, of course, getting a rework at some point throughout this season of the Rainbow Six game. I really don't know when that's going to be coming out, or whether it even will be coming out. The rework will, of course, include the ability to self-revive from a frost mat. Of course, at this point, still currently in the game, if you fall into a frost mat, you need a teammate to come and help you get up. Even if you're a Finka, or if you have a Finka on board and you get boosted, you will not be able to do it. Wow! What a shot from the Frost that we mentioned. Katu through the drone hole will find Mac. There's only about a pixel's worth of view that you could even see through that drone hole, let alone shoot through it. So it's definitely one of the more impressive shots that we'll see today, and it opens up this round for VITICAL yet again. They get that opening frag. Katu still largely uncontested. Still at the top of those arcade stairs. Meanwhile, Stoffa will find one onto Noiseek, and, well, Voltage are in free fall again. Stoffa with a beautiful swing will find one onto Gunter as well, and now in a 2 versus 5. Voltage are looking worse than I think they ever have so far in this matchup. The first logic bomb will get deployed by Joke. P1 will find Rexy through the hatch. Ooh, Joke having to push in to the cafe doorway. Meanwhile, getting a pinged by a Brock's alarm and then also getting blinded by that Fenrir smoke gadget. Pushing out to the top of those yellow stairs. Staffa looking the wrong way, might not even be aware of the push that's happening. He has the cross cover even if he's not aware. Wow, the ring around the rosy at this point, you would not believe it. P1 meanwhile rotating around to the other side. As I said, Rudda has that cross angle covered for Staffa, even if he gets swung on, even if he gets shot. Well, there goes exactly that cover coming out from Rudda, who was able to pick up one, but it's a trade or an auto trade, or the both of them. 1 versus 3, that diffuser control not in Joke's hands. All of the remaining defenders have rotated their way back to site. Understanding they don't really need to be up there anymore. If he's thinking about pushing into us, well, he's going to have to push into us. There's not much else that he can do. He doesn't have a diffuser. We know it. He doesn't have time, and we know it. There comes the drop through the hatch. Narrowly avoids the frost mat. Bakatu is there, and it was a beautiful cross fire setup. Anyway, Joke stood no chance, and the round goes to VITICAL. Put themselves a step away from match point, step away from a point. And I do believe that them getting even that 1 point will... Yep, that will equalize them. Oh, no, never mind. That will not. I thought that they were the 5th team, but no, they are. As I said before, they are the 3rd place team, so it'll just build up on their foundation, put them a little bit further away from Volps in 4th. Meanwhile, Voltage still chasing rounds at this point. I mean, they were only able to win 2 rounds, and that was on defense. Now on attack, as I said, very defensive side of map, even outside of Revival. Very, very tough to attack, especially when you don't have a base built of rounds that you could potentially lose without it really being detrimental to your efforts. That's something I always say, is that whenever you have that, round advantage by either a 2-4 split or a 4-2 split or a 5-1 split, even more so with a 6-0 split, and then you're going onto the less favorable side. Doesn't really mean that that's the amount of rounds that you have to, goof around with, but it is a buffer that allows you to potentially lose the primary or the secondary side pick coming up from the defense, but then you have the security of knowing, well, I will win the tertiary site pick, because it tends to be the weaker site, or the weakest site on the map, a weaker site for the team as well. So you're in a position to be able to win that round, and I do believe that a round out has been prepped onto the attacker that is currently repelling. That will be Mac as well on the repel. Oh, and there goes the run out, there goes the peak, and well, there goes the hard breach. There goes another run out attempt, but Mac has that cover with the Claymore. And Rhoda will go down. I think he thought there was another player on that side of the map, but unfortunately, even if there had been someone, I don't know how much he would have been able to accomplish. But with that diffuser still in Voltage's hands, and with them still having a hard breacher, this is still a quite winnable round. Oh, very, very unlucky. P1 was able to find one onto Staffa, but Katu playing right beside him finds that refrag immediately. Doesn't allow the end event to stick for any longer, and there goes another beautiful swing coming up from Katu as well. Takedown Joke. And now in a 2 versus 3 again, Noisseek and Gunter. A little bit spread apart. Noisseek still has both of his hard breach gadgets in pocket, both of his exothermic charges, so they could blow open this wall in initiation. And Gunter, beautiful patience there, just waiting. Oh, they blow open that bulk canister. Deny the push and deny the peaks coming out from the remaining attackers, but of course those echo drones will be causing quite a lot of issues for the attackers, as well as they keep just getting stunned, and there's not much they can do about that. Rexy shoots out that clone. Pavlov close enough with a shotgun. There goes one attacker running in, but Rexy is there to cover it up, and now it's all down to Noisy. A 1 versus 2 smoke will come up, but of course he's playing against the Warden, so that's not going to do him much good. There goes another smoke. That was not going to change anything, really. 25 seconds. He has the diffuser in hand, but he's not really in a position to plant it or even to bait it, especially as they have the echo. They don't really need to be doing anything, but he is going to be trying to bait it. There comes the swing, and he gets one. Makes it a 1 versus 1, but again, he's still playing against the echo. Pavlov close enough with the shotgun. Oh, wow. And there he goes. Brilliant efforts from Noisy to try and win that one. He had a clutch earlier before, really back in round 5, if you remember. It is the second round that VG won, and it was a lot closer than really it should have been. VITICAL, absolutely unstoppable, on a roll, now on match point, have secured themselves a point in this matchup, and at this point are just waiting for it to end. Meanwhile, Voltage just trying to hang on, trying to get a round. Well, they have a round, but from this point forward, they will have to be absolutely flawless, which so far they have not been.
Defenders, protect your bombs.
Even the 2 rounds that they won, it was not flawless, and there were still quite a lot of mistakes and a lot of openings. The first one that they won back in round 2 on Office was largely due to a mistake that VITICAL made, which was just funnel in through one door and peek into all of the cross angles and all of the crosshairs of Voltage, which, credit where credit is due, Voltage was able to take full advantage of. But it's something that VITICAL were able to adapt to pretty much instantly, and it is not something that has garnered them
10 seconds to insertion.
much of a win after that. How much of any success to be
5 seconds remaining.
fair. And then they won, of course, round 5, which they did not have the man advantage for pretty much the entire duration of it. And it was on the back of Noisy's clutch that they were able to put another round on the board for themselves, but no success since then. 4 consecutive rounds that have been played after that were not successful for them at all, and keep losing lives to basics such as runouts or very common pre-fires and swings. Definitely not something that you expect to see from a team like Voltage, who had a pretty deep run in last season's playoffs as well. To see them struggling is definitely something that you wouldn't expect, and oh my goodness, what a cheeky angle that is, very, very far and away from a prone position, protected by a deployable shield as well. Takes down Noisy, takes down his exothermic charges, takes down his smokes, his gun that packs a punch, and is still pretty much immovable from this position for another little while. Stopper will find another one on the Gunter, who try to maybe take care of that shield with a frag grenade, but he couldn't get close enough to actually do it. There will go a Gone 6 to finally rid of that shield, but still not really able to push in through that cache doorways. Of course, they have every single angle covered. P1 will find one at the Pavlov, though.
Attackers drop the diffuser.
Rada immediately there with a refrag on the joke. 2 versus 4 yet again. Make that a 1 versus 4 as Mac jumps in to the dragon window, goes down right away. P1 now with information about one of them will find the kill into Staffa. Knows there's still a player around Office. They're just patiently waiting. There goes a prox alarm. Shoots it, I believe, midair. Just to bait out a doorway a little bit. There's a flashbang as well. Try and clear out the player playing inside of bathrooms. Of course, it's an angle that you can't really contest against. Rexy going back in it. There goes an E1D deployed as well. That prox alarm will be spotting him. But just as well, his gadget will be spotting Rexy currently playing inside of that bathroom. He knows there's another player playing at the top of the yellow stairs. Now he just needs to know where exactly to push. And, well, could you imagine if that exact half wall had a frost mat behind it? I think that would have been quite detrimental at this point. But again, they have all of the cross angles that they need in the world, and P1 is just waiting. The peak, and there goes the peak. It's Katu with the final one. It's VITICAL with the round win. and the game win as well, or the map win rather. 7-2 closeout from the side of VITICAL, who were completely unstoppable pretty much the entire time. Valiant efforts from Voltage. It was definitely very, very brave of them to go to a map like Theme Park, even though they were starting on defense, so you'd expect it to be going their way, but still very, very brave of them to be going to a map like Theme Park. A lot of teams don't play it, and well, this is exactly the reason why. Is that even when you have the advantageous side, it doesn't mean immediately that you will win. But a very, very good job coming up from VITICAL. They secured themselves 3 points, put themselves a little bit higher up on the food chain as far as points go. They are not in a position to, even if they pick up all 6 points today, they are not in a position to overtake or equalize with either Arctic Wolves or Eterno, the current second and first place teams, but they will be able to get a little bit closer to them, and they will be able to build themselves quite a nice, secure little base to where even if Volps next week gather all 6 points, they will not be able to, or not next week, but toward the end of this week, even if they gather all 6 points, they will not be able to equalize or beat them. The MVP, even though the game said Rexy, I will be giving it to Staffa. I just felt like Staffa was a little bit more sort of there, always there for the refrag, always there for the opening picks as well. Very, very vital player and definitely a key factor to VITICAL's 7-round wins. But that will close out this map. We won't be going anywhere, or we'll be going somewhere on a little break for just a few minutes, but we will be back. It'll still be VITICAL Voltage. They're playing map 2. It will be Chalet. Stay tuned. We'll be back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Revival League Season 2, Round 4 of Champions League. My name is Retro, and we are back with VITICAL Esports and Voltage Gaming. This is Map 2. It is Chalet. If you missed it, we just had a pretty crazy game. Well, I say crazy. It was pretty mellow. It was a pretty quick closeout from VITICAL Esports. It was a 7-2 closeout on Theme Park. Quite surprisingly as well, as they started out on attack, which is not something that you really expect to see from a map like Theme Park for the first attacking team to be getting the win. But they got it done, they pulled it off, and now Voltage Gaming are chasing those points, chasing those rounds. Of course, they did not get any of the points coming up from the previous game. Of course, there was 6 up for grabs. Now there's only 3, as VITICAL took the other 3 from the previous game. Of course, you get 3 for a regulation win, 2 for an overtime win, 1 for an overtime loss, and nothing, nada, zilch, 0 if you lose in regulation, which is exactly what happened to Voltage. So they are definitely chasing some points, but that will not be their first points. They've already got some points so far throughout the season. They've definitely been playing pretty well to get themselves some points. They've got 8 currently to their name, which is just exactly in the middle. They are not in a position to, should the season close today, which it won't. Don't you worry. There's still the entirety of round 4 still to play out with a few more games, and then there's, of course, rounds 5, 6, and 7 to play out. But should the season closeout today, Voltage Gaming would be exactly bang on in the middle. They would not be promoting themselves into the playoff spots, but they also would not be in a position where they have to worry about potentially relegating down into the Premier League. They would just be safe and comfortable. And well, if there would be a silver lining there, well, at least we don't have to play any games for the next month for the next couple of weeks of playoffs. Just chill at home, maybe scrim, maybe watch, maybe eat some chips. They'd be completely fine. But without any further ado, Chalet has begun. And well, we see pretty similar bands coming out here as well. The only real differences being the Jackal and the Azami, who are the new additions to the banning slots of this matchup. They were not present, or they were present, but they were not banned in the previous map. Now they definitely are. Thatcher and Solus still following their sort of trajectory of getting banned as often as is possible in every single game and every single league of the season. Pavlov going for a cheeky, spompy, maybe run out as he uses his Echo drone to spot out any potential attackers. And oh boy, this could really be a problem, and it will be. He takes down Noisseek. Ironically, the only true counter to Echo, the Dokkaebi, or I guess the Brava as well, is a really good counter to Echo as well. But pretty cheeky angle. Can't say that I've ever seen that be done. I've seen Echoes do certain similar things, where they throw a drone either out the window or maybe push it out of a drone hole. Immediately that comes to mind is Bank. That drone hole from the basement. You throw a drone out the window, you push it back in through that drone hole, and you're just able to spot out anybody that is on that side of the building. Definitely never seen that, and there go more runouts. It was a double runout, and Rudda will pick up the kill onto Gunter. That's the Nomad gone. And the air jabs that might have been left in pocket are gone with her. He won. Oh boy, just narrowly misses the kill there onto Mustafa, who just turns straight around, finds him anyway. Leaves Mac and Joe. Can he make that joke in a 1 versus 5? And he'll go down as well. A flawless round to start this one off for VITICAL. Wow. Just wow. Just what a job there. Being a little bit cheeky, very aggressive as well. I mean, we've seen them do some cheeky things in the previous map as well, where they were going for those jump outs and the run outs and then everything like that. They had a pretty cheeky angle from a prone position behind a deployable shield from, I don't even know what that would be, 20 meters, 30 meters away. either way, a very, very cheeky angle. Then
Attackers
more
need to
cheeky
locate
stuff
and
coming up
defuse
from
the
them
bomb
today, or in this map as well. And Volta just had no answer to that at all. They came here to play this, quote unquote, normally. They came here to play this, you know, for their lives and everything like that. But VITICAL are just having fun, and it's definitely working out. This is definitely something that you'd see in ranked. Not something that you really see in really any tiers of competitive play. Is teams do tend to take it a little bit more seriously than that, and they put themselves into positions where, well, they are looking to be quite serious with what they do, and how they play, and strategies, and analyzing data all comes into play. So
Attackers objective.
Voltage are definitely, I would assume, quite put off by the playstyle of VITICAL at the moment, especially with them not having a single answer to it. P1 could be the next victim to their never-ending cheekiness. He will be rappelling into Solarium, miraculously alive, as Rexy did not decide to run out on him, but he could just be going down now. On the Solarium stairs is, of course, Rexy with the sound cue, knew exactly what he did, and ran up those west main stairs to hold him off from pushing from this side of the map. And, of course, the rest of his team have already made their way upstairs, or at least a few of them have. Very, very crucial for this bomb site to be holding onto that top floor control for as long as possible. It's, as I always say, if you don't hold on to the vertical, your enemies will. So, well, it's better if you do it first than those Goyos, or those vault canisters by the Goyo, again, getting blown up and deployed to, of course, deny as much of this area as possible. Gunter getting himself flashed out as he's trying to, as his team are trying to get rid of some of that utility that has been placed in this library hallway. Very, very crucial for them to clear out that utility, any of those ADSs or my magnets that may be in there, so they can clear out that shield, which they have done, which will give them an entry point into the side or toward the side. But of course, 90 seconds have already gone for them. They still don't really have much of a semblance of a push or an attack at this point in time. Force is on the board, so they will be able to clear out even more of this utility, and with those flashes coming out as well, they are able to clear out the remaining players still roaming on this upper floor. Now, with that vertical control, they might be looking at a little bit of a push, but of course, there's still so many players playing either on site or inside the kitchen or near it that will make it quite difficult for Voltage to really do much here. But the vertical damage is starting to wreak havoc on top of them. Stopper will find Mr. Mac yet again. These two have just been at each other's tails pretty much the entire day. Katu at the bottom of these stairs. Joke at the top of the same library stairs. Meanwhile, Staffa will find another one. Noisy. There goes Joke with the swing. Finds Staffa, but immediately reswung by Katu at the bottom of the stairs. Finds him. Rexy in the meantime finds P1. It's all down to Gunter in a 1 versus 4. So many of these 1vx's coming out for VG, and another round that they cannot answer to or for or about in any way, shape, or form. Once again, they are at an absolute free fall. Now, of course, this is not quite as dire of a situation as what we saw on Theme Park, where they started out on defense on the most defensive-sided map in the league, but Chalet is still defender-sided itself, and even when it isn't, you still don't see teams losing it quite like this. I think it's just a pretty bad clash of play styles for Voltage, who have known to be a lot more slower paced and a lot more methodical in the way that they do and in their executes and everything like that. And then VITICAL are there just essentially just running around headlessly without that much consideration of consequence or anything like that. They're just going for what feels good at the moment, and when it stops feeling good, they'll stop doing it. And well, that's really the damage of
10 seconds to go.
team that can be aggressive like this is, for as long as it's working, they're not going to stop. We saw this earlier in the season from the Volps against Lumina, where Lumina are also a very, very slow, methodical team, and Volps, well, when they're in a certain mood, they will just absolutely goof around. And same exact thing we see from VITICAL right now is Rexy goes for it. Another spawn peek will find the kill on some Gunter, and his grenades will go with him. 4 versus 5 right off the bat. Attacking up the kitchen this time, so yet again, that vertical pressure is absolutely crucial. They're lucky in the fact that they didn't lose a more vital operator, such as the sledge or actually a buck. But it's still way less than desirable to have lost a team member at all. And more of those engagements are coming out, as that's Rexy, or that was Rexy, right? Instead of the office room. Might not have been. It actually might have been Rudda, and I'm just losing my mind. I think it was.
Attackers dropped the diffuser.
Oh, there goes another swing. Pablo with the SMG-11 will find Noiseek. I'm not really even sure through where or how. Well, find him. That's their hard breacher off the board. And I was saying earlier they were lucky in the fact that they only lost Yana and not a more crucial operator for long-term advancements. Now, however, they lost their hard breacher, which will definitely be very, very difficult. Mortgage is coming out here. P1 just barely staying alive, and as the C4 gets blown up right on top of him, there's not much that he can do against the aggression the VITICAL are just throwing at them and getting away with it completely unpunished. Staffa on a potential flank mission as well. Joke seems to be aware of it happening, or is maybe just expecting that to be a pretty basic thing that somebody would do. He had the information and heard him, he saw him, but he just wasn't able to pick up the kill. It was instead Staffa. They got the kill, dropped the diffuser down onto the ground, and left Mr. Mac all on his lonesome yet again. And another flawless round from VITICAL, third in a row round win for them. I think it's the second, not consecutive, but second flawless, nevertheless. What can I say? Really not much to say. I mean, I've already said basically the gist of what's happening is that it's just a difference of play styles, and Voltage have no answer to it. They're a very methodical team. VITICAL are being very, very aggressive, very cheeky with those runouts, those spawn peaks, those late flanks, being very, very unpredictable, especially when they already have man advantage from those spawn peaks and runouts early in the round, which allows them to be even bolder than they necessarily would be if they had man disadvantage. So, Voltage are just I mean, I've said this a few times now, but they are now seriously in a free fall, trailing 3 rounds. Again, a defensive sided Chalet, but not by that much. It is definitely not, you know, a 70-30 split the way that it was on Theme Park. It's about 52 to 48 in favor of the defense. And I really don't think sides matter that much here because, well, we saw VITICAL bring a blitz before. We saw them be just as aggressive as they are on defense. We saw them be just as aggressive on attack. So, I don't really think that sides have anything to do with it. I think it's maybe Voltage being a little bit ill-prepared for this matchup, or I just am really not being sure of how to counter the aggression. And the thing about aggression is that there's really not that many ways to counter it in the first place. And the only things that you really can do is, well, either, you know, be patient and wait for somebody to fall into your crosshairs, because they're bound to eventually, or be just as aggressive back and hope that you're able to strike first. And so far, VITICAL or Voltage have decided to do neither of those things and are just sort of playing this waiting game. Staffa getting droned out quite extensively. A grenade has come up from below to hopefully get rid of him, but he was brought down to only got 30 HP. No kill yet coming out, and Ceramic is still downstairs all the way inside a basement trying to find Mustafa through the floor. Mustafa, who may be looking to push down those west main stairs. The side is all the way upstairs, and Voltage have zero map control, have zero way of actually pushing into that bomb site. It was intended to be a split push from the library side, I do believe, but there goes another opening kill going the way of VITICAL as Joke will go down. That's the hard breacher off the board yet again. Will not be able to provide any more cover utility. Katu and Pablo will both find a piece. Now he's seeking Mr. Mac. The magical duo strikes again in a 2 versus 5. How much are they actually able to do, especially with them being so far apart? Mr. Mac jumps into the window, finds the first one onto Rexy, but he's on such low HP, and there could have been a Frostmat down there as well that would have absolutely gotten rid of him. I'm still waiting for him, and you will find him. Noiseek now in a 1 versus 4. We saw him clutch up before, but it's a tall order, and he's getting swung from so many angles. It's Rada from a deep angle all the way inside of the library hallway to find that one, win the round for the side of VITICAL. Take a 4-0 lead. Voltage still unable to answer. Still unable to counter. VITICAL still not able to punish their aggression. Still not able to find any success in any rounds. And
Attackers need to locate and
unfortunately enough, VITICAL haven't even been doing anything too spectacular as far as setups go. This is the exact same position that we saw Volps be in just a little while ago in round 3, where they were also very, very aggressive and just doing the most basic default setups that you see all the time. For example, right here, they're just bringing a thrust or bringing a double shield situation, or, well, they're not even bringing a double shield. They're just bringing a single shield. This Rexy's got a C4, and of course, Smoke lost his shield at the beginning of this season. But they're bringing that shield for the top of the library stairs or for the chimney position, either or. They've got people playing all the way down inside the kitchen. They've got people playing in and around site. They've got people playing upstairs. They've got a roamer or two. It's a very basic setup, something that you see all the time. And then the only thing that they're really doing different that you don't see all the time is the fact that they are being very, very, very aggressive. And that aggression has been paying off so far. Voltage, who are trying to disassemble the strategy, have not really been able to disassemble the aggression, but that may change here. And now as they take down Rexy, it is a very, very important frag. There comes another very important one on the Katu. That is the Mai and the Warden, both gone off the board very, very early on. That is going to allow them to take care of their shield a lot quicker than they normally would be, as of course there will be no regenerating magnets that will be able to get thrown to protect it, and there will be no Warden to swing them whenever those flashes come out. So Mustafa now behind that shield will stay situated for at least a little bit, but he will be pushing down as he's aware there's no saving him. He stays there, but it's a flank that's somehow been allowed. They did not bring a Nomad this time. They had no flank watch. Nobody was on drones and nobody was watching that physically. Rada got up there, found the kill onto Gunter, and rotated all the way back down into basement. He got his one. He ran away. He doesn't really need to pressure it anymore. Everyone's scrambling now to find any more pieces of the puzzle, and P1 might have just found the final corner pieces. He takes down Rudda, the rotating Goyo, leaving only Stafa and Pavlo, both either on site or near it. Stafa pushing up those library stairs will find one. Immediately traded out, however, and Pavlov now on just a sliver of HP. Wow, what a swing with the shotgun. He finds P1. They've got 65 seconds still to go. 2 versus 1. Diffuser in hand. 3 flashes. They still have quite a bit of utility on the Zofia as well with those lifelines. There is absolutely no universe in which they should lose this. Pablo pushing up to that doorway, and Joke with beautiful patience shows just how much you can do if you stand there waiting, and he gets the final kill. Finally puts VG on the board. as we head off into the final round of the first half. BGF finally were able to find any sort of success, are looking to find at least one more round here in this half so that they can put themselves into a little bit of a better position coming into their defensive half. Of course, I say it's a defensive side of map, so a 4-2 split was to be expected. It just really was not meant to come, this late, but it's still really, really good. The Voltage are learning from their mistakes. They're learning that they cannot be sitting ducks,
Bomb located by
that they
attackers.
need to be a little bit more prepared. Okay, they spawn peek every round. Be there, aim at those windows, get the counter spawn peek on. Oh, they're being aggressive and just running at you. Okay, get the kills, be aggressive, and get the kills. Oh, they're flanking a lot. Okay, get that flank watch on. Get those drones on. Get the nuke to chase the roamers. Get the nuke to chase the flankers. Be on that like a hawk. And that's something that Voltage was struggling really a lot in the first few rounds. They were able to bring it back finally in round 5. And hopefully it's going to stick yet again as we see VITICAL go back into the VAR Games bomb site. Aware that maybe they spread themselves a little too thin, maybe they were a little too aggressive, a little too silly in the previous round, and they're just going to decide to pull it back a little bit. This time they brought double utility to prevent any of those projectiles to come flying in, either into the library or on top of that shield. Very good adaptation from them, especially considering that pretty much the opening frag was onto the Wamai. Was unable to protect that shield for any longer, and they lost one of the most crucial positions on the map, and especially for that bomb site. I think this is the first time that nearly a minute has gone by and still no deaths, but I think we might be seeing a couple as P1 and Rudder are basically playing chicken with each other all the way down in basement, seeing who will give up first, who will pull the trigger first, and it will be neither of them, as it's Katu instead to take down Joke. Very important frags. They take down Flores, who will now not be able to use his repair drones to take care of any of those shields. P1 is down inside a basement. He finds Rudda. I guess Rudda lost chicken. And it gives P1 the ability to push up those basement stairs, either through the blue side or through the fireplace side, and put pressure from elsewhere onto the remaining defenders. 75 seconds to go. They still have not gotten rid of the shield at the top of the blue stairs, but they are clearing that utility swiftly. And there goes grenade. It will find the shield, and it will force a stop away from his position. And Rexy now, all on his lonesome, at the top of the fireplace stairs, retreats into library, joins Katu up there, and of course with the hatch open, they are both able to drop down and away. Oh no. They jump in from the window. Stopbot gets one, gets two. A round that was looking so much like Voltage has started to slip away from them entirely. Pablo will find another one of the P1. It's all down to Noiseek yet again in this 1vx. He will find Rexy. Will try to open up this wall to maybe gain himself a little bit more information, or even just to bait them out a little bit as he blows that one open and rotates around. As I said, he's in a 1 versus 3, a position that unfortunately he's very, very familiar with so far throughout this matchup. And with not nearly enough time to make it all the way into sight, get that plant down, and 3 gun barrels staring straight at him. It'll be Katu to find the final one. Put another round on the board for VITICAL, but the stop to Voltage's potential comeback. Take the half at a 5-1 split and put Voltage at a significant back foot as they are just trying to find any semblance of success at this point. Of course, they did give themselves at least 1 round worth of a buffer as they now head on defensive side. Hopefully, for their sake, they will be able to find more success on this side and in this half than they have so far.
Location of a bomb.
Defense hasn't been too kind to them as the most defensive-sided map in the league. It was a complete mess for them. They were not able to get the win on it, not even close. Or take the lead, rather, on the defensive half. Not even close, and now going on to that defense after splitting their attacking side 5-1, or 1-5 in their case.
To insertion.
They are definitely looking to improve
5 seconds left before
on their
insertion.
record.
Attacker's objective is to defuse the bomb.
The round has begun. They've decided to go up into bar and gaming. Again, a very likely sight to see. Has tended to be the most favored site or most preferred site by a lot of teams. So, and they're playing in a pretty similar, if not the same exact way that we saw from VITICAL, but Gunter, he decided he was going to be the cheeky one this time, and he goes on a prone angle all the way down inside a basement. We'll find one at the Katu. That's the ace gone. Their only hard breacher. And, well, now we're cooking. Now we're definitely cooking as well to find that opening frag. Rexy pushing in through the trophy room. Unbeknownst to him, there are two guns staring straight at him, or staring in his general direction. Oh no, it'll just be one, it'll just be a joke. But Gunter is not far behind. To support that, Rexy will find the kill on the joke. Staffa, in the meantime, going down to Gunter again. As I said, Gunter was not far behind. He was close enough to push in, get that refrag, a pull back and away again. Rexy now just staring down at him. We'll find him through the wall. Beautiful shot. Gunter unfortunately exposed a little bit too much of himself and wasn't able to recover from it. Man count equalized at 90 seconds to go. They still don't have a hard breacher on the side of VITICAL, and they still have to take care of that shield. Of course, it's going to be so much harder now. They have only the smoke grenades still left in Pavlov's pocket. But of course, they still have the floors, so they're going to be able to take care of that shield without having to use any other utility. Rexy finds another one to P1.
Attacker's bomb diffuser.
Noiseek is there to pick up the refrag. Mr. Mac now inside of Mudroom. We'll just be waiting for anybody who's dumb enough to really peek him at that point. Brought up Pavlov, 2 versus 2. Trying to push down into sight, trying to find the round win here. This is for the match point for them anyway. Meanwhile, Voltage just hoping to God they are able to stay alive for a little while longer. The fireplace stairs now, shooting so many of these cameras and so much of this utility, giving himself away completely. There really isn't much of a choice that he has. Mr. Mac waiting for him at the bottom of the stairs. He will find him through the floorboards. All down to Pavlov now as Rota goes down. 1 versus 2. Mr. Mac rotating from those stairs into library, and Pavlov pushes straight in, or that was Pavlov, pushes straight in, finds one, finds the second one as well. A really, really unlucky situation there coming up for the side of VG, who had that opening frag, who had man advantage for the longest time. They had it again right there at the end. It's just very, very unfortunate. As Noisy got shut down through the wall, something that I don't think he was even expecting, and Mr. Mac unfortunately whiffed the first and now the only opportunity that he had to actually get that frag, or that final one. And he just wasn't able to actually get it in the end. It was a beautiful swing from Mr. Mac, don't get me wrong, but still a bit of an unfortunate situation coming up from Voltage, who absolutely had that round in the bag. And now, looking at an even worse scoreline than on Theme Park, Voltage Gaming are staring straight into the pits of death as VITICAL have secured themselves the 4th point from this matchup, put themselves on map point yet again, and are looking to sweep all 6 points from
10 seconds left
the
before
available point distribution at this time. going back to the same bomb site, hoping that this time it'll go a little bit better. And of course, they had most of the advantage right away. Gunter with the beautiful, almost spawn peek at the bottom of that basement doorway, and sort of all throughout. Is he going to be able to find success again, or will VITICAL not give it away as freely this time? Tough to tell at this point. Staffa pushing straight in through the basement with the Nook. I'm surprised they didn't get stuck on that door. I've attempted to do that quite a few times, and it always bugs out on me. But the early engagement is coming out already, as Gunter is aware of a potential push from a Nook, but he's not alone. Those drones, however, spotting out the other player downstairs as well, so he's going to be aware of a potential double threat, but he's aware of a potential triple threat on that same exact doorway. Joke thinks a little bit better of it, drops away. Maybe it was a little bit of a bait as Staffa could hear him running away, and it was instead Gunter. Nades are flying at the top of Gunter's head, and somehow he is not dead. As he tried to maybe go for a run out. Of course, that run out, even if he did it, wouldn't really gain him much because there's no one on that side of the map, and why would there be? Not a bedroom site attack. Nevertheless, Akatu will be opening up this office wall as well, and now that will give them a perfect line of sight to start taking care of a lot of this utility. Primarily this shield at the top of the library stairs. Give the players going for a little bit of a gunfight there as well. Oh, he tries to go for the swing onto the drone, but unfortunately he's not able to find his bullets in time. The return drone will destroy his shield and will continue to destroy a lot of this utility. Mac now at the top of these stairs tries to maybe catch a kill onto, I don't really even know who that would have been, but instead it will be Pavlov to find a follow-up onto Joke, who, if you remember, was a crucial part to Gunter's bait. Started the round. 30 seconds to go. A lot of very, very good time wasting coming out from Voltage, but if they lose P1, it's not looking so good. They will lose Noiseek as well. He gets a little bit too aggressive. 2 versus 4. Gunter and Mr. Matmack yet again together trying to find something. Pavlov will find Gunter and sold on to Mr. Matmack. 1 versus 4. This is to keep his team alive and breathing in this matchup. Time so low, he might just be able to run out the clock, but Katu has made his way inside the site in a pretty good position to go for the plant, but they have all of the angles covered. He was able to find Rexy, but Pavlov is there with the refrag immediately, and well, it's GG's in chat. As you can see, the round and the map and the matchup will go to VITICAL, who win it 7-2 and then 7-1 on Theme Park and Chalet, respectively. And, well, the game is saying Pavlov is MVP. I was going to name Pavlov as MVP anyway. Regardless of that, I think that he has been very, very instrumental to this entire team all day. He was very instrumental on Theme Park, even more so here on Chalet, of course, on Theme Park. I do believe it was Staffa that got that MVP title just because of beautiful contributions to the team. A lot of very, very important frags, especially off the bat, getting a lot of those opening kills. Pavlov, in the meantime, has been on sort of cleanup duty, where he is able to pick up those refrags or is able to pick up the kills from the support position as well, not just from the entry position where it's sort of quote-unquote expected. So that is my reasoning for why Pavlov gets it. Really not that much to say about that. It was only toward the end there where VITICAL had slowed down a little bit and started playing a little bit more methodical, but the entire time up until that point, they were being very, very aggressive all the way throughout the theme park as well. They were very aggressive, very confident in their approach, and there was just no answer that Voltage could have given to that to actually get themselves any round wins. I mean, they only got 3 from that total matchup. And they just were not able to find any more success than that. Anytime that they attempted to punish that aggression, they just got punished for it right back. And well, when they started showing a little bit of those teeth, they still weren't able to hold on to the advantages that they were given. I mean, they had the man advantage early on in those last 2 rounds. They had it early on. They had it pretty much through the entire round, and they were not able to hold on to it. It was a bit of a misplay in round 7, where Noisy got shot through the wall, and then Mr. Matt Mack, unfortunately, whiffed the shots. His only opportunity to kill Pavlov, who ended up clutching that round for VITICAL. But I mean, that's really just one round where somebody could pinpoint and say, "Hey, Mr. Matt Mack lost that. Why'd he whiff?" But you could also say, "Hey, where was the rest of his team? Why did they fall apart so much? And why was that the one round where seemingly the entire world was hanging on his shoulders? Where was the rest of the team for the entire matchup?" So definitely not a one player reason for why they lost this one. I think it was just a bit of circumstances with maybe an unfavorable site. I don't know how much they play theme park, but that might have been an unfavorable map that they don't play that often, that they maybe weren't as confident on as they thought that they would be. And it's, of course, as I said, VITICAL just being so aggressive to the point where they are playing very default, very basic strategies that if you tried to counter the strategies, there's no way for you to counter the aggression. That's basically what happened, is that they were trying to counter the strategies, which were very, very basic and really didn't need that much countering. The real counter that they needed to provide, or the real thing that they needed to provide a counter for, was the aggression, which they just weren't able to do. Anyway, I don't know how many times I've said the words aggression, but in any case, that will close out this matchup. VITICAL pick up all 6 points from this one, and they put themselves all the way up into the 3rd place, trailing behind, just barely behind, Eterno and Arctic Wolves, and they leapfrog over Arctic Wolves, who now, even if they pick up all 6 points from their upcoming match, they will not be able to overtake VITICAL. So VITICAL have put themselves in a very, very good position here in 3rd place, and are looking at a pretty good probability of making the playoffs without really much of a hitch. So that will definitely be very, very exciting come the next few rounds. Anyway, that will be all for me tonight. Thank you everybody for watching. Make sure to stay subscribed to this channel if you are not already. Subscribe right now, and keep those post notifications on as well, so that you know when we go live. Also follow our socials, where we also say whenever we go live. That has been it for me. Thank you everybody for watching. Have a good night.